Hey buddies, today's video is not going to be as lighthearted as most of my videos have been. I feel like I really need to talk about this. Linkin Park has been one of my favorite bands pretty much my whole life since their first EP came out. I was a fan of them before they were on the radio, all of that stuff, just because their music really spoke to me, and I felt like during difficult times that they really understood how I was feeling. I'm sorry if I get choked up during this video, but I just can't even describe how much this band has changed my life and has helped me survive life. I don't really talk about this a lot, but I was bullied pretty heavily in high school. I had a lot of different issues where I just felt depressed and sad and upset all of the time. And when I felt that way, I would just listen to Linkin Park, and it was like a friend was talking to me, that they understood exactly how I felt, and they knew how to speak to me. And Chester's lyrics got me, and I cried, and every morning I woke up screaming, crawling at the top of my lungs, and my family hated my guts for a long time because of that, but they just meant the world to me. What I want to do is react to Mike Shinoda's EP that he released today, Post-Traumatic. The reason why I want to react to this is because it was that same feeling where you go through difficulty and you feel so much. And these are things that I don't openly discuss to everyone, but I'm going to talk about them today. I do what I do, I teach what I teach because of what happened in my life. So I have gone through a tremendous amount of loss, and I know there are people out there that have gone through more loss than me, but I lost my mom to stage 4 breast cancer, and I lost my older half-brother to suicide. Both have influenced my life. They affect me daily. There are some days that I'm happier and I feel like I can cope better, and there are other days where I just feel like completely shut down and I don't know how I'm going to survive the day. One way that I do that is to listen to music or tap into my creative side to help me deal with and cope with things. When I was listening to Mike Shinoda's EP today, it brought back so many of those feelings that I've experienced, and I think that a lot of times when we are going through grief, we almost want to talk about or have a creative outlet where we can talk about our own grief. I think that's why a lot of people do what they do. That's most certainly what I do, because I don't talk about it all the time. I silence myself a lot. I try to be aware of other people's feelings. And my mom has been gone for 6 years, I think going on 7 years now, and it's a long time, and so people just assume that you move on from it. And after a period of time, people just sort of stop talking about it. I think what Mike did and some of the things that he said rang true for me. When he was talking about saying goodbye over and over again, I feel like that is how I feel all the time, because not everybody knows that I lost 2 people at my age. I'm pretty young to have lost 2 individuals that are that close in my life, and because of that, a lot of people just assume that, for instance, my mom is still alive, and I have to constantly explain to people that she's gone. It is a really, really hard situation to do that, and I felt that pain and that wash of grief where every day you sort of have to wake up, come to the realization they're gone, and then think about how you're going to live your life. It's never really something that has closure, especially when we're talking about something with suicide. I mean, suicide adds a layer of complexity that just adds to that. Mike and Linkin Park, they've literally changed my life. And I know that they will never really know how much they changed my life, or the band as an entirety. I wouldn't be here or be who I am today without them. When Mike was talking about in one of his songs about feeling like a failure almost, and feeling like there's no hope, I think sometimes grief can do that to us. It sort of convinces us, and it gives us this mentality that we can't. There's no hope in it. What are we going to do now? What is next for our lives? And sometimes you just can't imagine living life without a person. I never thought that I'd be able to survive or get to where I am today without my mom in my life. I mean, I was 22 when I lost my mom, and so that's really young. I think that people putting these messages out there for those who are grieving, like what he did, is so important. And I think that we need to understand that he's coping, and we have to be aware and sensitive to that. And I think that a lot of people just put whatever they want on the internet, and they don't think about being empathic. It's something so simple as just giving someone space, or calling and asking how someone's doing, or leaving a nice comment that makes them feel like you're thinking about them. And so many people just are negative. The EP just made me emotional again. Like I felt like crying. I felt this rush of grief just go over me. I'm sure that some of you who are also fans felt this way. I really do hope that he continues to tap into that creative side because it is so beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful ways that I have seen someone talk about and discuss loss and grief. And I teach this. Like, this is something that I study. I talk about it all the time because I think we really need to open the conversation about this stuff. We silence it so much because it's taboo and it forces us to sort of confront our own mortality. But really, at the end of the day, opening conversations like that, like having a creative endeavor that allows people to talk about their grief if they're experiencing it and share their experiences, I think that is so important and powerful today. We need to have more like this, and it was beautiful to see his grief, but I also felt so awful and I could feel his pain while I was watching, and I just want to thank him for being so open with his fans and for creating this difficult art and for expressing himself in the way that he did. We all appreciate what you have done, and it helped me cope a little bit and dealt with it, and I'm sure that it helped a lot of you. So please let me know in the comments how you're feeling, or talk about any of the experiences you've maybe had. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, and I will see you all later. Thank you.